Is it top 4, top 6, or top 8 for Arsenal after West Ham? Football fans, welcome to the Positively Uncensored Arsenal podcast. I am your host, Shotta, with my usual partner, Blackburn George, the Arseblagger. In this edition, we discuss Arsenal's amazing comeback against West Ham, Odegaard, Aubameyang, Lacazette, Partey, and conclude on what we think of Arsenal's chances of making top 4, top 6, or top 8. Stay tuned for more. Blackburn George, the Arseblagger. What an amazing comeback against West Ham yesterday. And now, George, it makes me begin to think we could be top 4, top 6, or top 8. But, George, maybe I'm jumping the gun. Let's start with West Ham yesterday. What an amazing comeback.
Yeah, it was fantastic. I love games like that. My favourite game of all time, Arsenal game, was 7-5 against Reading when we were 4-0 down.
Oh, yes, George, I remember that. That was a dramatic finish.
I absolutely loved that game.
Yes.
And I've watched it time and time again. And it's entertaining. It's everything I love about football. I didn't like the bad play in the first half hour against West Ham. I didn't like the bad play in the first half hour against Reading.
Yes.
But without that bad play, you can't have a big comeback.
Right.
You know, I tweeted last night, the greater the comeback, the greater the joy. And I was joyful last night. It was only a point, but what a good point. We saw everything that I want to see in a game of football. Excitement, good play, bad play, mistakes. And I just loved it. I thought it was fantastic. I enjoyed it last night. And
wow. It's not good for my ticker, George. It's not. I can't, I was about to. Go ahead.
That's what we've been missing. Yeah. You know, it's been so mundane and ordinary and boring and predictably fucking crap for so long. Just give us a bit of joy and excitement. And that was great. You know, only a point, but the best point of the year, in my opinion.
You could be right, George, and I haven't given much thought to it. But we started off very badly, and for the first 30 minutes, they were all over us. And I don't know, what accounted for it. I saw you attempt to explain it in a tweet yesterday, post-game, with Hedy. But, he started off with Saka on the left and Auba on the right. He brought back Mari. He had Chambers as his fullback, and it just didn't seem to click at all. Maybe you want to give your impression again.
Well, I don't mind Mari coming back. I think he's been very competent. I've quite a lot of confidence in him. Chambers, I think, offers more defensively against the aerial ball, so I could understand that as well, because West Ham do like a set play.
With Antonio, George, who's an animal in the box. Yes, go ahead, but yes.
Absolutely no problems with that team selection.
Yes.
It's easy because, of course Bellerin will offer you more going forward, but the threat from West Ham comes from set pieces, and they put someone in to counter that, and Chambers played well. He played well going forward as well. So, again, I go back to the same thing. People are looking for reasons to criticise Arteta at the moment. You're either looking for reasons to say he was right, or they're looking for reasons to say he was wrong. And we have to be careful that we don't fall into that trap. And I thought those two particular selections were fine. What I couldn't understand was swapping Aubameyang and Saka over, because neither of them perform as well on that side. And I can only think that it was to cover the the fullbacks, because they put them on the right, Aubameyang right-footed and Saka left-footed. They'll stay tighter to the touchline, and they can cover the fullbacks. And again, that might have been to stop them getting into the areas where they can cross it into the box from the fullback areas. Giving fullbacks more cover. So, again, I didn't think it was the right move. He clearly realised it wasn't the right move and changed it. But I'm not even going to criticise him for that, because that's an idea, that's a plan. It didn't work, but all plans don't work. The opposition also have an effect on whether your plan works. You don't just make a plan and the opposition fall into place and do what you wanted. They surprised us by, instead of sitting back like they normally do, they got on the front foot and attacked. So that was their plan. In the first half hour, their plan worked and our plan didn't. It's as simple as that. However, he then changed it, went to plan B, we attacked them, and all of a sudden our plan's working and their plan's not. So it's easy to be critical even when it clearly was a mistake in hindsight. But I understand why he did it. He wanted cover for the fullbacks and he didn't want balls coming in from wide areas, so he gave them that extra cover by switching the two wide players over, and it didn't work. But if it had worked, we'd all have been saying he was a genius. All plans don't work. I have no problem with the team selection. I have no problem with the fact that they were playing on the wrong side. What I didn't like was how slow we were in attacking and how they dominated us to the second ball in that first half hour. That wasn't part of his plan. And again, I can't blame him. If the players aren't absolutely on it, if they're coming second best in all their individual duels, Mikel Arteta can't do anything about that. So, even for the first half hour, I'm not going to blame Mikel Arteta on this occasion. Because, again, I go back to the point where my criticism of him is not as a coach. It's not his ability to set the team up. It's about his management skills with the players. So I want to compartmentalise that, and I don't want to keep having a go at him for mistakes that I'm looking for him to have made, when I don't actually think a lot of the mistakes that we're blaming him for, he has made. So John, that's where I am with Arteta.
And it's a fair point, and I think, I know that I tweeted that you have been emphasizing this in our podcast for the last couple of weeks. The point I was making, if you cannot identify the positives in the way that the team plays, then you are going to lose entirely all credibility. At the same time, and I know you also make the point, if you cannot identify the negatives and be Pollyannish, then you're just as bad. And this is this is too much of this in the Arsenal fan base. There's just extremes. It is terrible.
Yeah, you're right. But there's too much of that in life at the moment.
Yes.
Everything's become polarised over the last...
Everything is black or white, yes. Go ahead.
Because, and I put it down to social media mainly, because even if you look at blogs, even if you listen to this podcast or read my blogs, it's people that are very opinionated,
yes,
and want their opinion to be heard. That's why we're doing it. That's why I'm talking. So it's an extreme. It's the extremes that are pushing themselves to the fore, including me. You understand?
Yeah, I understand that, George. Go ahead.
It's not just the Arsenal fan base; it's society, and I think we have to accept it. And what we have to do is understand that the vast majority of people are not as vocally extreme and don't have as fixed opinions as the ones that push themselves to the front. I mean, you look at Arsenal TV, there's not a brain amongst them. There really isn't. The most pig ignorant, stupid bunch of people that you could get together. It was like they picked them up of a lineup of idiots.
Right.
And the top 5 idiots got to go on Arsenal TV. And you can't say that our fan base is reflected by Arsenal TV, but they have the biggest following in our fan base.
Exactly, George. You know, I made it.
It's a conundrum that we're not going to fix.
No, you and I won't. You know,
but what we've got to do is do what you say and try and at least see both sides of the argument.
It's interesting you make the point because, again, yesterday I was forced to tweet after listening some, as you say, seeing some pig ignorant stuff on Twitter. And I was like, social media, George, has not made us any more knowledgeable. It has not made us better informed. I see people saying things about the football game that is totally non-factual. And people lapping it up. People retweeting it. Thousands of people. And as you say, these same people now have YouTube, very popular YouTube channels, and they're monetizing the stupidity. And no wonder, at the point I'm saying, perhaps I want to make this, no wonder we're in the state we are in. We are 9th. Struggling against West Ham, who we used to put away. You know what I mean?
Yeah. You say that. Mm-hmm. But is that an Arsenal thing? Is that a reason why we're 9th? No, every club has it. They're all fucking idiots, football fans.
Of course, but I'm talking about Arsenal, George. I'm not.
Yeah. But what I'm saying is, I don't think that's an excuse for us being 9th because we're all playing on the same playing field.
No, I'm not saying. I'm not saying that's an excuse we're being 9th. That's one of the reasons why we are 9th, and without people taking an objective point of view and saying that's not good enough, or recognizing that up to 3 years ago we were never 9th at this point in the season, or if we're 9th we had a good chance of becoming top 4, is because of these extremes. Maybe I'm wrong.
No, I understand. But everybody has those extremes. That's my point. And it's just that we have to try and not be those extremes. But the tendency is that's where we go because we all have. I've never met anyone in life, who has told me that they think their opinion is wrong.
Correct.
Well, why would they? Because if you thought for a moment your opinion was wrong, you would change your opinion. So even if it's basically ridiculous and wrong, that person thinks it's right. And he's convinced it's right. Otherwise, he wouldn't have that opinion. Now, it might be an ignorant opinion. He might not have researched anything. He might not know anything. But they'll insist that they're entitled to that ignorant opinion. And that's what you're fighting against, because people think all opinions are equal. And they're not. They're really, really not. You're not entitled to be an idiot and be accepted for your opinion. And people think they are. Like you say, you see things over the top criticism of players, ex-players. I mean, the big thing now is that Odegaard is everything that Mesut Ozil wasn't. Well, I'll tell you what, Odegaard is a phenomenally talented, good player. I love the kid. He's everything that I like about a footballer. But if anybody thinks that he's yet in the class of Mesut Ozil, they're barking fucking mad. Absolutely barking mad. You don't have to fucking have stupid opinion like that to say that you like Odegaard. You can like him. He's a good player.